Welcome to the Yoga Business 5-Part Framework Training. This is a webinar of your roadmap to building a successful yoga business from start to your version of success. And it's different for everyone. So let's get going. Who is this for? This is a webinar for yoga teachers who want to start their own yoga business and take yoga business and yoga teaching into their own hands. They want to start making money and earning a living by teaching yoga. Inside, I'm sharing the step-by-step system to building a profitable yoga business. This is for new yoga teachers and teachers who are ready to put themselves out there in a bigger way. It's for you if you're a yoga teacher, if teaching feels like your chosen career path, if you want to earn more money, you want to expand your reach, you want to stand out, you want to be seen as a professional, and if you love learning from experienced teachers. This is not the training for you if you're not interested in teaching yoga. You don't need more money. You don't really want to be on the internet. You want to stay disconnected. Totally fine. That's all right. You probably aren't watching this anyway. This isn't for you if you're just looking for continuing education hours to add to your resume. And this isn't for you if you're only looking for free and easy solutions. This is a free solution for you, not always easy, but it does take some hard work. And this is not for you if you don't see the value in seeking mentorship beyond looking for answers for free. So let's keep going. Today, you're going to learn the 5 myths, or we'll talk about the 5 myths that most new yoga teachers believe and why they're not true. I will share with you my simple yoga business plan roadmap. You definitely want to stay tuned for that because it's going to be so helpful to simplify the yoga business plan process. And then I'll share with you my ASHES method, which is the 5-part framework for your yoga business building. And I'm also going to share with you details about my upcoming course, or my course that's currently available, and my coaching program if you are interested in diving deeper with me and with others in building a business of your dreams beyond yoga teacher training. So I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for watching. I hope you stay. Grab a pen and paper. If you have distractions, that's okay. I get it. I'm a mom. So do your best to watch. If you have to push pause and come back to it, that's awesome too. Again, let's keep rolling with this. So think for a moment. Does this sound like you? I'm just sort of making you realize where you're at right now and giving you sort of a vision to where we could be. So right now, you might not be sure where to start. You aren't really sure. You have a yoga teacher training certificate or about to, but then what? Yoga teacher training perhaps didn't discuss a lot about business or online teaching. After all, you get 1 hour in a 200-hour to talk about business. And perhaps for you, starting a business, it just sounds overwhelming. It sounds complicated. It sounds like, who am I to learn about business when business could be like a 4-year degree? And things are changing so rapidly. Does it sound like you if adjusting your teaching platforms, online, offline, some other way, audio, video, sounds a bit challenging? Does it sound like you if you fear maybe that you're going to mess up, or you have paralysis, a little analysis paralysis, or fear that the tech will crash? And you might even be asking yourself, well, who would actually pay me for this? And who am I to teach yoga in this way? Maybe these are some of your thoughts. Well, imagine, let's flip that around a little bit. Flip that mindset just for a moment. Imagine with me what it might feel like to be a successful yoga teacher. What does success look like or feel like as a yoga teacher? Where would you be, let's say, 5 or 10 years from now? What does that look like? Imagine yourself having complete confidence in what you teach and teaching to your perfect audience, your perfect students. Imagine having a clear and easy method to teach yoga in any environment, whether that's in person or online. Imagine actually making enough money to support yourself and more, and the ability to make enough money so that you can continue serving the world in this way. The more money you make, the more you can serve and help. It's not a bad thing. Imagine your students love your classes, even from all around the world, and that you're able to fill your classes and programs with eager and repeat students, whether it's one-on-one, workshops, retreats, or classes. Wouldn't that be great? Well, all those things can be possible. Possibilities are endless and they could be realities, but you might need a little bit of help to get there. So I don't want to talk too much about me, but I do have to mention who I am in case you are unfamiliar with my path or who I am. My name is Ashley. I started practicing yoga in 2011. My 200-hour training came in 2013. I up and quit my full-time job right after training. I do not recommend that, by the way. And then I taught full-time yoga and hustled my butt off for about 4 years. I taught 15 or more group classes per week, workshops that led eventually to teaching yoga teacher trainings. At this time, I knew it wasn't sustainable. I knew I couldn't do this forever. I needed a plan for the future. But I didn't want to go back to working a 40-hour work week at a desk. I wasn't into that. So I started learning business. I started enrolling in a few small business courses online. And from there, that's where that start sort of happened for me. Was in between this time. I went to a few different conferences. I just got a feel for what it meant to start a business and navigate my finances. And it was fun. It was exciting. So I did that on the side of my yoga teaching. In 2018, I quit all of my teaching jobs and I moved halfway across the country to a new environment. I knew nobody, I had no audience, I had nothing. And I also got pregnant and had a baby, which wasn't quite in the plan, but everything has its reason and that's what happened. And while I had no job, I was broke, I didn't have much, and I was a new mom, I put myself back on YouTube and really started to build this online business again. In 2019, I bought a yoga studio, and in 2020, let's move on. So in early 2020, we all know what happened. With my studio closed, forced to be closed, of course, I had high overhead expenses, rent was expensive, I was pretty much stressed out and frustrated, but I was excited to get back to teaching online. It's something that I really enjoy, and I was looking forward to using my skills as a graphic designer and technology expert and combining that with yoga. I took out some loans as backup, some that were available for businesses, which meant I was accumulating debt. And I got my butt to work though. I worked weekends, every nap time, well into the night. I was up again at 5:30. I was full-time mom, but still took any and all opportunities to teach crazy hours during the day. I was constantly adding more to my schedule, thinking if I added more yoga classes or more offerings, then I would make more money. That's not necessarily the case. Now, in late 2021, I still have those high overhead expenses. My yoga studio, I've decided to keep it closed and I still have that expense, but I started to simplify. I cut out what wasn't working and I really doubled down on what was best for me and my family. I found a system that actually works. I stopped working every opportunity I had and really just started to use that 80-20 rule. If you're familiar with that, it's 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your activity, or 80% of your problems come from 20% of your customers. So that 80-20 rule works in a lot of different areas, and this is no exception. Now I finally have daycare and I can pay all my expenses, including daycare, without going into debt. I've paid back my loans. I have schedule flexibility and freedom. So without my studio, without having to run classes, and by working online in this way, I'm able to take weekends off. I can travel. I can spend lots of time with my son and go hiking and go up waterfalls and do all sorts of fun stuff with him. So I'm basically living a life that I love and I'm designing it that way. And I'm only teaching what lights me up completely. So I'm cutting out what isn't working and I've really boiled it down to what is working. And that's what I want to share with you. So what makes me different? Last slide about me, I promise. So I'm a technology and computer nerd. I love problem solving on the internet, with social media, with design, with plugs and cords. I think it's fun. I also like to provide step-by-step guides. No fluff. I'm not going to get too much into the fluffy stuff. I just want to tell you how it is and how it works. I'm not really about that six-figure hype. That's not of interest to me because I've seen so many people making hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they're so burnt out. And that's not That's not the purpose. So it's not about the money anymore. It's about living a life that you've designed that you love. And whether that's making $500 a month or $5,000 or $500,000, it's really up to you. And it's all possible. So I have taught yoga and fitness for 10 years. I've led multiple 200-hour yoga teacher trainings. I owned a studio. I do teach a few unique styles of yoga, which makes me a little bit different. And I learn from business coaches, not just yoga teachers, on how to run a business. And for those of you who are, sometimes it's easier to relate with people who are much like you. I am a single mom. I have a toddler, so I am busy, and I know what life is like running around and trying to capture a little 3-year-old. So I'm a single mom with a toddler. For some people, it makes a difference that they're working with someone who knows and understands their frustrations, and if not, that's okay too. So this is what makes me a little different than maybe someone else you've worked with or learned from. And let's move on then. Now you know a little bit about me and my story and where this all came from. Let's talk about some myths. So before I figured out how to create a business from yoga teaching, there are some myths that I had to stop believing, and you might have to stop believing these as well. Number one, a lot of people think, I don't have a big audience. No one's going to join my classes. Well, it all starts with one, and you actually don't need a big audience. What you do need, though, is to get super clear on who you serve. You're going to hang out where your ideal students hang out. You're going to really hone in on your story and become more relatable with the people around you. Having a big audience does no good if you're still not inviting people to join you. Practice inviting one person at a time when your audience is still small. Then it gets easier and easier, and word of mouth is the most powerful form of advertising. So if you start building your audience now, your audience does not have to be large, but it does have to be deep. You need to grow these connections one at a time, and that starts with really refining who you are, and we'll get there in a moment. Actually, we'll get there right now. So what you're going to do is really get specific in who you serve. If you try to help everybody, you end up helping nobody. So here are a few plug and place templates or little phrases you can use, and you don't have to be using these in your advertising or marketing, but they're really just for you to remember who you serve. So I help a specific audience go from a negative result to a positive result so that they can have this sort of outcome. Or I teach this specific style of yoga to a specific audience in a certain amount of time so that they can have this outcome. So remember, everyone is welcome, but not your yoga. Everyone is welcome, but your yoga classes are not for everyone. That means you can welcome everyone in. You're not going to turn anyone away, but know that your teaching is not for everyone. And that's what makes you special, you unique, and it makes you stand out among everybody else. If you try to teach to everyone, you'll teach to nobody. So let's get super specific with this audience. The more specific you can get, the better. And if you need help refining this, write this out to what you think it would be. One of these elevator pitch. It's an elevator pitch statement, really, or an introductory statement. You can always send it to me, and I would love to see what you came up with. Or post it in our Facebook group, Yoga Sequencing and Teaching Tips. Okay, moving on. Again, if your audience can be listed as mostly everyone, you're not being specific enough. Especially in the worldwide internet, we need to be specific so that you can stand out. And as you are specific, eventually your audience will grow and you can get more general. But right away, get as specific as possible. Stand out by narrowing down. Your ideal student it usually resembles you and your story. So who are you? Who were you 3 to 5 years ago? Think about that for a moment. What's your story 3 to 5 years ago? What did you struggle with? What were you like? What did you enjoy? Here's me in the past. What can be said about the pictures that you see here? Who am I? What words describe me in my story? Well, it looks like I'm fun, silly. I like to smile. I'm upbeat. I'm very active. I'm a mom. I'm strong, and I use yoga as a complement to my active lifestyle. And that might be the case for you too, or you're going to be completely different. So even if you have to look through past photos or look through past journal entries, get to know who you were in the past, and that's usually who your ideal person is going to be. Okay, moving on to myth 2. There are so many yoga teachers out there nowadays. I'm just too late. So many yoga teachers online? You think you're too late? No. Your audience is not seeing all the yoga teachers that you're seeing. They're not. Your audience is not other yoga teachers either. If you see other yoga teachers doing what you're doing or want to do, that's validation. Competition is validation that it's needed and there is enough room for everybody. Others doing what you want to do shows that there's a market for it. And so if you are someone who likes to hang out in yoga teacher Facebook groups or yoga teacher pages on Instagram or social media, stop it. Start to go where your audience is. Unless you're teaching to yoga teachers, gotta quit hanging out in those spaces. So here are just a few ideas. If you want to hit pause, you can always check this out. A few ideas to get more specific with your audience or classes, and choose one or maybe two of them, or just give yourself some time to look through and see if there is anything that stands out to you. And you might come up with something completely different than any of these, but I just wanted to throw out a list of ideas in case you needed something to spark some creative juices. So go ahead and push pause. Check it out, or you can take a screenshot on your computer or your phone and look at this later. There is only one you, and you are going to be your unique brand. Your uniqueness is how you're going to stand out in the sea of yoga teachers, both online and when everybody starts hiring yoga teachers again in studios. Third myth is I don't have a space at home to teach yoga. So you think you can't teach yoga because you don't have a space. We need to reframe or redefine what you consider teaching yoga. Remember, yoga asana, the poses, is only one of the 8 limbs of yoga. There are other 7 limbs that you could be teaching. There are other ways that you could be teaching and sharing. Yoga does not have to be a group class style. It does not have to look like the yoga videos you see online. Conversations can be teaching yoga. A simple breathing technique is yoga. Meditation is yoga. Sitting, audio, podcasts, YouTube videos, sharing a blog post. Any way that you share yoga is beneficial if it helps someone. So you do not have to do it in a way that you've seen out there. You can do it in your own way that makes you comfortable and with the resources you have right now. But if you want a yoga class type space or a video space, make one. You may have to clear a small space, declutter and let go. I know this is hard if you have other people living with you, but do your best. So declutter a little space and work with what you have. This might mean you only have once a week to declutter a space and use it for a couple of hours or a day, and then you have to put everything back. So maybe you batch film or create a bunch of content and then drip out the content a little bit at a time as time goes on. If you do still have a pretty small space and it's hard to get your entire body, there are cameras out there that are more wide angle where you can capture more of your room, or maybe a wide angle lens clip for your phone. There are ways around this. I promise you can do this. If all else fails, creating those direct to camera or talking videos or seated pose videos for now is maybe what you have to do. Just simply let go. Simply, I say that like it's super simple. But right now, we do have to let go of your need to have yoga or yoga classes on video look a certain way. In time, it'll change. In time, you might upgrade. In time, you might have a space. But for now, use what you can. This is my living room, and I live in a pretty small space. I've organized it in a way to have yoga videos, to be able to teach. And I use the Logitech Brio webcam, which if you can see the corners at the top here, see the corners? It does expand the space. These should not be crooked, but it is a little bit crooked up there because it's a wide angle lens. And you'll have the camera about 6 to 8 feet away from you at waist height, about your hip bone area. So that is the best view to have if you want it like you see here on this presentation. Myth number 4, there's so much free yoga, no one will actually pay me. Free yoga, as great as it is, can often be perceived as little to no value. And free yoga, if if done correctly, is fine, but it's usually something that directs people to something bigger. It's used as a marketing technique. In fact, I've taught free yoga classes, which is awesome, but my purpose was not to build a yoga teaching business where I'm doing classes for money. I didn't want to do that. But if you do, people will pay you. People offered to pay me. It was nice, but I did it for other reasons. But if you want to build your yoga business using group classes or Zoom classes, and you want people to pay you, then you've got to set your price. And even better is raise the price from what you think it should be. There is free information everywhere on the internet, and you can put a value to your classes at whatever you want. If you want to reframe this in your mind, here's how you can do it. You can put a value or a price to your class and ask yourself, pick a price, whatever it is, and ask yourself, how do I have to show up to make this class or this offering valued at this price? So rather than trying to match, rather than setting a price to what you think your offer is, or, okay, what would people pay for my yoga class? Instead, set the price first and then ask yourself, how do I have to show up? What do I have to give people to make this worth $20 or $100? People will pay for your expertise. They'll pay for shortcuts, they'll pay for accountability, and they will pay for access to you. So people will pay. They are out there. You can always do tiered pricing or pay what you can if you wanted to, but the more that you value what you offer, the more others will also value it. Myth number 5, I don't have the right equipment and technology is confusing. This is my favorite one to talk about because the technology of it all is so much fun for me. I have videos all over the internet, but the basics is to start with what you have and upgrade later. What you have is just fine. Your iPhone or your laptop or iPad. And as time goes on, as you get more comfortable on video or get more comfortable doing what you're doing, then you'll upgrade. Upgrade as you start to generate the income to do so. You can find a lot of my recommendations for actual equipment at ashasyoga.com/tech. I give that out to everyone who's looking for recommendations on microphones or lighting or cameras, and it's been helpful for a lot of people. So I'm so grateful that I'm able to share what I've learned over the course of the last 18 months. If there's one piece of equipment I would recommend getting first, it's a good microphone and a wireless microphone if you are teaching in that way where you're teaching a yoga class that has poses and you're moving around. And what you see here is the Rode Wireless Go. I've been using it for a very long time now, about a year and a half, and it hasn't failed me. It's amazing, but there are some cords and cables that you do have to be aware of that you might have to get separately. So if you are looking for a good microphone, I do have resources and videos. I have an entire YouTube playlist dedicated to talking about wireless microphones for online yoga teaching. You can search for Ashley Hagen or Ash's Yoga and I'll pop up. Of course, AirPods are an option too. There's a few other options out there. Just make sure that your audio is good for your yoga classes. You can do a yoga class with just audio, but it's very difficult to do a yoga class with only video and poor audio. Don't let the fear of technology stop you. Use what you have, upgrade later. Yes, you can build a successful yoga business. Yes, you can figure out technology. Yes, you can build an audience. Yes, you can do all of this. Let's take a look at how we do that. This is my yoga teacher business plan for beginners, and I've even simplified it from the past. And I want you to take a look at this. We start with the top left, as you do reading a book. Top left, you're going to define a problem, and the solution is you. It's your offerings. It's your experience. Your problem needs to be specific. Go back to that problem statement. I help specific audience with this negative thing. Go to the positive thing. So what is that problem? Your marketing is going to be a few things only. Don't try to do it all. Marketing is social media. It's Instagram, Facebook groups, YouTube, word of mouth. It's email and flyers and postcards, business cards. It's all of those interactions with potential customers and clients. So marketing, I would say keep it simple to 1 or 2 main platforms or places that you're marketing. And from there, you direct people to a low-priced offer or free. It could even be free. Like this webinar, this is free. This training is free. So this would be in that section where it says low price or free intro offer. That is this training. From there, you would then get people to jump on a sales call, or you'll run a launch plan for the people on your email list, or you'll invite them to something bigger. And it might be a upgrade email sequence, which means it's an automatic email sequence that goes out after someone purchases or watches something, and it invites them to your bigger offering, a course or a training. Your low price offer might even just be yoga classes. It might be a yoga class that you do once or twice a week, and then you're inviting them to something bigger. And most teachers haven't made it beyond this stage of the low priced offer. Most teachers are hanging out there and not going beyond that with courses or memberships. So having a 4 to 12 week signature course that is sort of your main offer is a really great method. Now, it's not the only one. You could do a monthly membership or a quarterly membership. This is a great model for yoga studios where you have that recurring revenue or ongoing income month after month, something you can depend on, and it's a little bit more expected, so you know what to expect. And then the last one, if you go up the ladder, is a certification training. This would be like a bigger thing. It might be a far-off retreat, or it could be a 200-hour certification or something specialized. So that would be a very high ticket offer, something that's over $3,000. Whereas your monthly membership, that's something that is paid monthly, so it costs a little less. And the 4 to 12 week course or training, maybe it's usually $3,000 or less for something like that. It might be a 6-week beginner course that you sell for. What would you sell that for? If it's $20 each, 6 weeks, maybe you sell it for $150 to start with. And then as time goes on and you gain a bigger audience and you start to refine your course, you can sell it for more and more. I have a course that I've sold. I started with selling it for $250. I later upped it to $350, then $600, then $1,000. So you can start small and work your way up as you refine your course or offering, so it can grow bigger and bigger. So this is the basics of a yoga business plan. I hope what I just explained is understandable to you. I know it can be a little bit confusing, but I am here to help you each step of the way. Along with that business plan, let's talk about the 5-step method for yoga business growth. They go hand in hand, and this is the ASHES method. And ASHES is an acronym, and you can tell there's ups and downs throughout this entire process, so it's not always going to be this straight linear line. Let's chat on what these stand for. So each phase of this helps you build your business. The first phase is the attract phase. Then we're selling or serving right away, and then helping. And these three sort of go in a circle, and I'll get to that in a moment. Then we elevate with even more bigger offerings and scale the business, or scale your yoga business and teaching to heights beyond what you can even maybe imagine right now. So what is each of these? What are each of these? Let's go through A. A is attract. Attract means that you're going to clarify your problems and solutions to your audience. Research current trends. Research and get to know what you're interested in teaching, learning, or sharing with your students. This is where you get to refine your story, defining your audience by refining your story too. You'll also update social media profiles and start to build your audience, build your email list, build your social media. It's the very beginnings of attracting, you becoming more attractive, and also you finding attraction to your students. Okay, so that's the attract phase. And you might be here a while. Each of these phases takes as long as you want it to take, but I would say a minimum of 2 to 4 weeks if we're going to actually work through these. But it might be a while, and you might bounce back and forth from one to the other. Next up, we have selling or serving. Some people don't like the word sell because it sounds salesy. But everything we do, we're selling. If we're giving recommendations, we're selling. If you want to say serve, that's awesome. You're just serving and also collecting money as you serve, because that's the way the world works. And so in this sell phase, you're going to create a simple website or a storefront. So your website acts as a simple storefront that has your offerings. This is where you list all your current offerings and start putting things up for sale. You set up payment processors like Stripe and PayPal, and you start selling small products or services. Small products and services like yoga classes, small workshops, class replays, on-demand videos, ebooks or PDFs or class sequences, or whatever it is that you want to sell that someone could buy and go through within a couple hours. This is also the phase where you learn how to track sales and expenses and do a little bit more of your system setup as a yoga business. Next, we have the help phase. And help means that we are helping through social media and marketing. So you choose primary marketing channels, create relatable content, and invite people back to your offerings. And this becomes a circle. So help phase is creating helpful content. Batching content, which means creating a bunch at once if you want to, with different prompts or different, different content prompts or different content styles to see what is most attractive to your audience. So helping is actually creating the content, the marketing content. Less about setting up and actually doing it. So these three sort of work together in a cycle. And this is where a lot of yoga teachers start out. This is where a lot of business owners start out. You start out in this small little cycle where you're gaining attraction with your audience, and then you're selling something small. It really helps to get used to selling just a few small things to get that motivation and encouragement up. And you're helping by posting a few things, not the exact how-tos, not free yoga classes, but you're helping changing mindsets and then directing people back to your offerings to work with you. And you can just do these three and be super, super successful. You don't have to move on from this. But if you want to do more, let's move on to the E. E is elevate, and this is where we get to that signature course or membership or retreat or certification process that we talked about in the business plan, the ones that are on the far right side. In the E phase, you're going to run a beta or founding member launch, so a first launch. And whatever your course topic is, you create the content week by week in real time rather than all at once before you've validated or checked in with your students if they even want this content. So you create it week by week and you sell it first. You sell before you create content. That's something that a lot of the successful business owners will tell you, or course creators, is sell it before you create all the content. There's nothing worse than creating an entire course and letting it sit for years because you're just not sure if anyone actually wants it and you're scared to put it out there. That was me. Don't be me from 2018. Okay. Also in this phase, you'll gather feedback and then make updates so that you can make this course, this signature program or this membership, something that you can do over and over again, or something that you're able to do rather than having it live. You would launch it again as a recorded course that someone could buy at any time. So that's the elevate phase. And the last one is scale. And I touched on this briefly when I said you would create your course and make it into something that someone could buy at any time as a recorded version, because that's a way that you can gain residual income, or passive income, I should say actually, passive income where you've done all the upfront work and now you can make sales in your sleep. So when you scale your business, you're creating more of a launch plan or creating an evergreen plan. And launch means that you're launching in real time. You're putting content out there to get people to join your course, your big program. Evergreen means that someone could buy it at any time. It's always out there, and you're putting content out there. Again, that gets sales to your main offer. When you scale your business, we're going to learn how to automate systems. So that means automatic emails, confirmations, set up all those systems that make things really easy and work for you while you don't have to do all the work. So you can focus on the things that you're best at, like actually teaching your classes. When you scale your business, there's also a section to add partnerships or affiliates, which means you've partnered or collaborated with a partner, a company, or someone else, and you're adding different income streams. And then to scale your business as you start to grow bigger, you may need to hire help. Doesn't mean you hire employees necessarily, but you could. But it means that you outsource some of the things that you just don't want to do anymore. So all in all, it looks like this: attract, sell and serve, help, elevate, and scale. And again, we start with ASH, and we get comfortable there just because sometimes we need to prove to ourselves that we can do it, because you can. And then we add on with growing our business to heights that we may not even realize are possible. So let's take a look at a few of the people that I'm working with who have worked through some of this methods. And Cassidy is one of them. Cassidy is awesome. You can check out her website or Instagram. She attracts yoga for all bodies. That's who she teaches to. She teaches local classes, so that's what she's selling. Virtual private lessons. She does workshops. She even did a workshop for me inside of my membership, the Confident Yogi Club. And she's working on some guided meditations. She helps people and directs them back to her offerings by helping in Facebook groups. She posts to Instagram, and she does have a YouTube channel, which is so much fun to see her grow. I love when yoga teachers put themselves out on YouTube. She's elevating by coming up with her membership, and eventually she's going to host workshops and trainings and do even more in her membership. So great job, Cassidy. She's doing amazing things. Then we've got Sharon, and Sharon is just lovely. If you have not seen Sharon inside of one of my Facebook groups, she's oftentimes popping in there to leave comments. She's a moderator in a few of the groups, but she has her own little yoga business. She is attracting beginners and improvers. So her audience is yoga flow. She teaches yoga flow for beginners and improvers. She sells by teaching local classes when available in her area. She is going to be doing daily morning Zoom classes and offering one-on-one lessons. She helps people out and directs them back to these offerings through her YouTube channel. That's the main place where she's posting really helpful content and short lessons. And she's also pretty helpful in a lot of her Facebook groups, and she even has her own Facebook group. She's going to elevate this by creating a monthly yoga membership for people to take her daily morning Zoom classes. So she's working towards that right now, and she's doing great at it. So she'll likely scale this. I'm just going to kind of speak for her. She'll likely scale this by posting to YouTube with her YouTube content, sharing how they can join her membership or join her live, or even how to book one-on-one sessions. And you can do that on YouTube by posting in your video descriptions or even mentioning these things inside the videos themselves. And they just stay on YouTube. So if anyone sees them, even years from now, they know how to contact you. And then Leah is doing something very similar to that, but her audience is yoga for busy moms or busy parents, but mostly busy moms. She sells virtual yoga classes, class recordings, and lessons. She's helping people and directing back to her services by posting YouTube videos and in her Facebook group. She has a monthly yoga membership for busy moms, and she's going to be promoting this using a launch plan. So she's launching using a video series, and also from the YouTube weekly classes that she posts. She'll likely update her descriptions and talking about this membership in those videos. So if you want to do these kinds of things too and grow your yoga business, do you want to do it yourself or the VBA way? And what's that? So do it yourself. It takes more time. I know, I've tried to do this. You're going to depend on students and self-reflection for feedback. You'll have no one to celebrate your wins with you or your failures. And business and classes will be slower to grow. It's possible. It just takes more time. If you join me in Virtual Vinyasa Academy, you'll get mentorship and accountability, personalized feedback, proven systems and framework, and just a great community that's going to be there for you every step of the way. If you are ready to build a solid foundation as a yoga professional, I've got just the thing. It's called Virtual Vinyasa Academy. And if you're not interested in joining me, don't leave yet, because I do want to just share a few more things about building a yoga business. But this is a course to help you to grow your business with technology, marketing, and just getting yourself out there and confident to grow your classes, grow your business, and beyond. This is an academy, so it's a coaching program too. It's for yoga teachers and future yoga teachers who want to be in business for themselves, making an impact in money doing what you love. You can start a yoga business too, and you can do it successfully, but you might need some help to get there. How much faster could you get there with mentorship, systems, and accountability? Probably a lot faster than the do-it-yourself way. VVA it's an online course and coaching program. It helps you to get started as a professional in business. When you join, you get instant access to the academy content, our private coaching group, and bonuses. Let me walk you through those. So first of all, the course itself has information on how to get clear about your audience, to setting up, to selling, all the things that I talked about in the yoga business plan. So how to do all these things step by step, piece by piece. Video tutorials, workbooks, Word documents, Google documents, spreadsheets. There's a lot of resources inside of this course that will give you the how-to, and it's all inside. Each module of VVA includes multiple lessons that work you through the ASHES method or framework for yoga business growth and helps you to set up your own business plan. From attract to selling to helping, elevating, and scaling, each module has about 5 lessons each that has a lot of content, and you can go step by step to get you going. You can expect to spend about 2 to 4 weeks in each section, making this course maybe a 4 to 6 month program from start to finish. You can do it faster or slower. It's up to you, and revisit the content at any time. Once you're in, you're in. If you dream about becoming a full-time yoga teacher in business for yourself, Virtual Vinyasa Academy might be just what you need. Some of the members say this: I always come to you for all the tech advice, your vast knowledge about all things online yoga business. Thanks, Tanya. And Sydney says, I'm a new yoga teacher, and genuinely, whenever you post anything, it boosts my confidence and inspiration to just keep going. Kelly says, I love your honesty with us, sharing what has and hasn't worked, showing us what mistakes are not a bad thing, and more like a learning tool, and you keep moving forward, and you keep moving upwards. Sandy said, I've been so impressed with VVA and the levels of support and attention that Ashley gives to all members. There are so many things I've learned from her that I didn't even know I needed to know. So true. So VVA also includes a private group support on Facebook. So a private Facebook group for daily support, accountability. I do make tutorials by request, and I do content reviews. That means video teaching reviews or website reviews, or anything that just needs reviewing, or if you want feedback on. I do that, and also the group members are there to help you as well. It also involves group coaching. I am setting up to do 2 weekly coaching calls, 2 calls, and they're always recorded. So there'll be 2 time zone options or timing options. I also have some one-on-one options too for those of you who cannot make it live, or if you have certain questions that just need to be answered from me. And that doesn't happen often, but if that's something that you are interested in, I do have one-on-one options. But I also have those 2 weekly calls where we hop on and brainstorm or answer questions or just talk through what's going on in our business. It's a great way to connect. And a big thing that it includes is access to the Confident Yogi Club. First and foremost, if you're starting in business as a yoga teacher, you have to be a great teacher. You have to know how to teach yoga. And if you are still in the phase of just graduated and not quite confident with your teaching, the Confident Yogi Club is a place where you can get loads of sequencing and cueing workshop replays. So inside of this monthly membership, all Virtual Vinyasa Academy students get access to this without additional cost. So you can hop in and watch some of those lessons and anything that you're struggling with. This is more of the teaching trainings, whereas VVA is more of a business training. It's going to help you with the technology, video, and marketing that you need to know beyond yoga teacher training, whereas the Confident Yogi is going to be there to help you with your yoga teaching itself. So that's included too. That's a big one. If you're serious and committed about your yoga career, this could be just what you need. But I'm not going to try to talk you into it. That's not what I do. I'm just going to let you decide. If you want to work with me and the group of Virtual Vinyasa Academy members, that's up to you. But also, we have to find out if it's a good fit. So keep watching. But you might be asking, wait a second, Ashley, what's the price? Of course you want to know that. That's what I scroll to every sales page I go to. What's the price? I get it. So I want to give you first a little value overview. And some of these numbers are a little bit made up. I'm going to be honest with you, but it took me a ton of time to do all this stuff. So I still think the value is there. The value has the course content. I've got the course outline checklist, which took me forever to make. I've got weekly group coaching calls, private accountability group. I don't do one-on-one calls except for those inside of this group. We've got the Confident Yogi Club lifetime access. We've got a welcome call, on-demand tutorials, content reviews, and one-on-one options. And then there's the template library, which I can't even begin to put a dollar amount to. I give you a lot of templates, a lot of sort of swipe copy for some things, and some spreadsheets that can help you as you progress through the ASHES framework for building your business. It's all encompassing. So the value is over $5,000. I would say if I wanted to, I could charge $3,000 to $5,000 for this course, but I'm not going to. Currently, the price is $1,250 if you pay one time all at once. Gives you lifetime access, course content, all the bonuses, accountability group, one-on-one options. Or you can pay monthly $125 for 12 months. This means that you will get lifetime access after 12 payments, but this is a great option because you can start paying and start going and have the course for 3 months and then cancel, but you'll lose access. So this is not something I'm going to chase you down for payment. If for some reason after the first month you can try it out for $125, first month you get something out of it or you decide it's not the time for you, not the right time, you don't have to keep paying, but you do lose access to all of the components. So I wanted to give that as an option too, for those of you who the one-time payment is not accessible at this time. So you can choose $1,250 one time or $125 monthly payments for 12 months. So if you are ready to enroll or you want a little bit more information from me personally, you can actually book a call with me at ashesyoga.com/VVA. If you're ready to enroll right now and you want to dive in, again, ashesyoga.com/VVA, and you can start the process now. If you don't join now, you might continue wasting time and money. You may or may not be able to get in again later. Okay, you probably could get in a little bit later, but the price might be higher or something else might happen or you might forget about it or it might, who knows? If you don't join now, you're just going to continue along the path of what you're doing. And is that working for you? I don't know. You have to decide. If you do join, you get all the content. You get to become a confident yoga teacher and running a business. You get to lock in the lowest rate. And you get access to me, your yoga teacher business coach. So here are a few questions that I get. I guess I'm going to pretend I made these up, but I think people would ask them. Can I do this if I don't live near you? Yes, this is all online. It's all on Zoom. If you live across the world from me, that's okay. I do have 2 weekly calls, again, and the one-on-one option if you can't make it on the live calls. So we can make this work. There are replays of everything. What if you can't make it on the live calls? Well, you can watch the recording. Or we can schedule a one-on-one if needed, or I can make tutorials as needed, and you'll just be posting inside of the Facebook group. You can also find some really great accountability and some great people within the Virtual Vinyasa Academy group, so you might be able to find an accountability buddy in a space that is closer to you. Does this count for continuing education credits? Yes, I am Yoga Alliance continuing education provider. So if you want Yoga Alliance continuing education credits, that's hard to say, I can provide you with certificates. How long does a program last? Well, I kind of mentioned that, where it is like 4 to 6 months to finish it, more or less depending on how fast you want to go, but you're in it forever. There are people who joined a year and a half ago who are still showing up to the live calls and who are still sharing their progress, and I have loved getting to know them. There's a few questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Reach out to me or reach out to book a call with me. So I hope to see you on the inside. Go to ashesyoga.com/virtualvinyasa academy. ashesyoga.com/VVA to check out your next steps, whether that's to enroll or book a call. Virtual Vinyasa Academy, your yoga business coaching to success and beyond. So you can sign up now or book a call. I hope to see you over there. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope also you have a great day.